a bottle of $5 wine and your dick. The sex has to be bad. My couch, you ruined my couch. You didn't take care of your kids. There's juice on my rug. Your partner's fucking crying. Is something wrong? Bitch, yes it is! You married a man-child, that's why! Hello everybody, you can call me SC, and welcome to the first episode of r/Am I the A-hole? Or for this episode, r/Am I the Grinch? Today we're looking at Christmas-themed Am I the A-hole posts from Reddit, and we're going to decide whether or not they are the Grinch. So, enough babbling from me, let's get started. Hi, Editing SC here. So, I figured out while I was kind of editing that all of these stories are written by women about men. I want to put the I don't know what to call it, but I want to say this is not supposed to be biased against men. I picked out stories that I felt were the most interesting, or the ones that caught my eye, and I should have vetted and realized that all of the stories that I picked out were written by women and written against men. So that is my bad. Not all of the stories. One of them is a sister versus a sister, but all of the posts are written by women. Sorry, men. Maybe we'll do another one where most of the posts are written by men. But either way, I hope you enjoy this video, and thank you for watching. Am I the Grinch for breaking up with my boyfriend after he gave me a crappy Christmas present? So, initial thoughts? Probably. It depends on the Christmas gift. And it depends on the amount of time. If it's 2 months in, I don't think that's a fair enough assessment. Let's get into this. I, 28 female, broke up with my boyfriend, 38 male. I don't like that age gap. On Christmas Day, after we exchanged gifts, I have a lot going on. I'm moving houses and I'm dealing with a new job position that has me feeling that I have a lot to catch up to from the past director. I set my alarm very early in the morning last week and took the time to buy him and his daughter, 16 female, presents that they could enjoy. To be fair, there's an income gap between us, but even a pair of affordable earrings could have made me feel happy. I already don't like this. Number one, he's 10 years older than her. Number two, she's making more money than him. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Because the house was a mess, I even closed off the living room with curtains so that the stack of boxes and things couldn't make the Christmas decorations look ugly. I made sure the tree looked nice, I bought the food that he liked, and I made myself pretty for him. He arrived and the first thing he did was to make fun of my makeup. I want to punch this man. What? He also made fun of my Santa hat. No, he laughed like I'm some ridiculous cartoon. We ate and talked, and I gave him my present, AirPods, which he loved to the point of posting on Instagram. His daughter got her present, Hot Topic stuff, and I was very glad she loved it. He took her back to her mom's house and didn't get back in an hour like he said. That's their Christmas arrangement. We were supposed to spend time together, but he came back about 3 hours later because his mother had visitors and he wanted to catch up. He sat watching TV and gave me zero affection. He gave me his present, which, to be honest, I would have preferred not to get anything. I'm not a drinker. He got me a small wine bottle that I've seen marked at $3 to $5 USD at the 7-Eleven. I know I wasn't at my best because he said my face changed. He has a job. He could have gotten something actually thinking of me. I felt horrible when he said he would give me an IOU and that the rest of my presents was in his pants. I want to cry. Nope, I agree, ma'am. I was supposed to take his boy parts as a gift. I was furious. It was cheap, and while I'm very sexual, it wasn't sexy. It felt vulgar. I asked him to leave and thanked him for giving me the worst Christmas and took back my present, as you should. I cried after he left, and when he texted me if I was okay, I broke up with him and blocked him. His siblings have been trying to reach me. I've blocked them all. One of them accused me of being materialistic and shallow, and also said that not everyone has a fancy job, and that I'm unfair for expecting a certain level of gifting. Am I the Grinch? Ah! So, first of all, so many red flags. He's 38 fucking years old, while she is 28 years old. There's a 10-year age gap, okay? We don't know how long they've been dating. That was not mentioned. But, first of all, 10-year age gap. That's a lot. Second of all, 10-year age gap, she's making more money than him. Now, money is not always a factor in Christmas gifts. I understand the wage, like, the income gap. I get it. I understand. You bought her a $3 to $5 bottle of wine when she's not even a drinker. And then, like, the rest of your gift is in my pants. He's just selfish and self-centered men. I hate them so much. You couldn't be bothered to get her something nice, something like go to Hot Topic and get her an earring set. Go to I don't know. I'm trying to I don't like getting women cooking supplies for Christmas or their birthday, but even that is somehow more thoughtful than a bottle of $5 wine and your dick. The sex has to be bad, right? The sex has to be, awful. OP is not the Grinch. Not the Grinch at all. She is Martha Mayhew. She is, everything. She's Barbie. Her boyfriend, however, is the Grinch in the worst way possible. He's not the hot Grinch. He is, the worst. He's Scrooge. No, he doesn't get to be the Grinch. He's such a Scrooge because he's cheap and he doesn't care about his partner, and he deserved to be broken up with. So, OP, you're okay. You did the right thing by breaking up with him, because I don't know if this is your first Christmas with him. It feels like it's your first Christmas with him, but you have dodged like a nuke. Moving on to our next story. God, what? Am I the Grinch for being upset that my husband will never spend Christmas with me? Going off just the title, no, I don't think you're the Grinch. And I'm trying to think of any way that you could possibly be the Grinch. I guess if he had kids and he wanted to spend it with his, well, no, because it's a husband. It's a husband. So I feel like even if you have kids, they should also be spending it with your wife. So you should in turn also be spending it with your wife. You know? That makes sense to me. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else. My husband and I have never spent Christmas together. This will be our 9th Christmas. Oh my God. 2nd Christmas since we got married. And this year I'm 7 months pregnant with our first child. He has always chosen to spend the day with his parents and siblings. And although I would be welcome to join, he has never preferred for us to spend it apart. He has always preferred for us to spend it apart with our own families, as that's what he sees is best for everyone, because then nobody is wishing they were somewhere else. For context, we live near his family, roughly 15 minutes away, but 4 hours away from my family, so we don't have the option to spend time with both on Christmas Day. Our apartment is also too small to host both families, plus I have elderly relatives who probably would not be up for the 4-hour journey. Both of us have good relationships with our in-laws. There have never been any issues or tensions with either side of the family. Our families also get along well with each other. The first few Christmases since our relationship began, I didn't mind that we spent it apart. After 3 years, we moved in together, and I hoped his perspective might have changed at that point, but he didn't see why we had to have a different arrangement just because now we live together. When we got engaged, again, I hoped he might think differently, but he still didn't see why we needed to change our current arrangement. Last year was our first Christmas as a married couple, and he still wanted to keep things as they were. As our lives have progressed together, it has upset me more and more that he prefers for us to be apart on Christmas. And last year he knew how upset I was that my first Christmas as a wife was spent without my husband. His answer is always that he'll consider doing things different next year. He never does. Tonight I tried to talk to him about this year's arrangement. The best he could offer me was to spend Christmas Eve with me so we could wake up together on Christmas morning, and then he could drive 4 hours on Christmas morning to make it back to his family's in time for dinner. I don't see how that's an enjoyable Christmas day for him or me. I explained to him that it made me sad that I'm his wife and I'm heavily pregnant with his child, and yet he still doesn't see it as important for us to be together. His answer was that the baby isn't here yet and that he would be spending it with me next year because that's where the baby would be. That upset me again because it made me feel like he doesn't value spending Christmas with me and wouldn't be doing so if it wasn't for the baby. People often say that when you get married and have children, those people become your primary family and your parents and siblings come second. I'm really concerned that he sees me and his baby as secondary to the family that raised him. My viewpoint is that it's reasonable to want to spend Christmas together. His family lives 15 minutes away from us. We see his family whenever he wants to, usually most Sundays. I only get to see my family a few times a year, and he knows I get very homesick. I also have elderly relatives on my side of the family, whereas his have sadly passed on. This year, my grandmother turned 90 years old and almost died of a stroke. Ooh. This could be my last Christmas with her. It's also worth mentioning that his family makes a huge deal out of New Year's Day and basically has a big celebration all over again like another Christmas Day. And I have always attended that every year and don't see why we can't have that day as the main holiday celebration with his family. Am I the a-hole? Am I the Grinch for thinking that it would be better for us to spend Christmas together this year with my family for the reasons outlined above? So, from that story, I don't think OP is the Grinch. The problem solving of this couple is a little weird. Why don't you switch off like every other year you go to the other person's family? Which also, I liked OP's solution of like, we spend Christmas with my family and then on New Year's we spend, New Year's with your family. Because, like, I understand that Christmas is a big deal. But, like, if you're having another celebration, 5, 6, 7 days after Christmas, that's equally as big as Christmas, I don't see the big deal about missing Christmas to spend with your wife's family. Also, another thing. What do you mean you're spending Christmases separate? In what world would I'm in a relationship and my partner is currently working on a cruise liner and will not be home for Christmas, and that makes me very sad. But it's not like they're making the active choice to not be with me at Christmas, right? So, what I don't understand is like, there's no other way. He has to spend Christmas with his family and you have to spend Christmas with yours. Something's weird. Something's up. Hold on. Something else that the husband said that I thought was weird. He's always preferred for us to spend it apart with our own families as that's what he sees is best for everyone, because then nobody is wishing they were somewhere else. I think he's the one who he doesn't want to go spend Christmas with her family. I don't understand why he doesn't want to do that. That's what I don't get. OP's not the Grinch. Her husband, kind of the Grinch, because he hasn't come up with any other plan other than, no, we spend it separately and then later on we can spend it together. No. 1 year you go to her family, the other year you go to your family. Just switch back and forth. I don't understand why that isn't one of the, solutions. Am I the Grinch for charging my sister's family to stay in my house during Christmas? Right off the bat, on just the title alone, I'm going to say yes. And, well, no. I think it depends. Because if your family is, eating all your food and not offering to pay for any of the food, or, using utilities, a lot of utilities, and they're not offering to pay at least a little bit, then I don't think you're as much of a Grinch. But I think, how long are they staying? That's another thing. If they're staying like a month, maybe not as much. But if they're staying like a couple of days, yeah, I think you're the Grinch. I, 31 female, recently bought my dream home after working hard for over a decade. It's a beautiful 4-bedroom place with a huge backyard and a pool. I'm single and live alone, but I love the extra space and use the rooms as an office, a guest room, and a gym. My sister, 35 female, her husband, and their 3 kids, 7 male, 5 female, 3 male, asked if they could stay at my place for Christmas. They live out of state and wanted to spend the holidays with our family without paying for a hotel. Initially, I was okay with it until I remembered the absolute chaos they bring wherever they go. They stayed with me for a weekend last year, and it was a disaster. The kids destroyed my sofa with markers and spilled juice on my rug, which I had to replace. My sister brushed it off, saying kids are kids, and didn't offer to pay for the damage. Ugh. Her husband barely helped with cleaning or watching the kids. I felt like a maid in my own house. So this time I told her they could stay, but with the conditions. I sent her a house guest agreement where they'd agree to pay a $100 cleaning fee up front, cover any damages immediately, pay $50 per night for utilities since heating and water costs spike in the winter. I don't think this is unreasonable. I love my family, but I also want to protect my home and avoid unnecessary stress and a headache during the holidays. But she flipped out. She called me greedy and said I was treating my family like Airbnb guests. She argued that it's the holiday season and I'm ruining the spirit of giving. Our parents are siding with her, saying I'm being ridiculous and cold-hearted. I argue that this is my house and I'm not obligated to let them stay for free when I know they'll cause damage and stress, and I'm sure they can afford it since they spent thousands on a Disney trip. I'm not asking for a fraction of what a hotel would cost. Now the family is divided. My sister says I'm the Grinch for prioritizing money over family. I think I'm being fair by setting boundaries, but maybe I've taken it too far. I don't know. Please help. So going off of that, I don't think, well, very, very soft, you're the Grinch. Because I don't think you should have charged them. I think genuinely you should have said, no, you cannot stay at my home. You destroyed my things and you didn't care. I think that should have been the boundary instead of being like, give me money. Because money, people are weird about money. I don't think that you're in the wrong for wanting to protect your household or protect your home. I don't think you're in the wrong for wanting to make sure everything in your home gets like replaced if it gets damaged. But I do think you're wrong for asking for money instead of just telling them no. I think it would have been less of a headache to be like no, and then for them to be like, wow, you're so mean, how dare you, and for you to bring up my couch, you ruined my couch, you didn't take care of your kids, there's juice on my rug. I think bringing those things up and setting a hard no instead of making them pay would have been a better choice. Now there is an edit. For those who want to know, I spent at least $500 to replace my sofa and rug after the kids damaged them last time. And my sisters didn't offer to help with the costs. OP did post an update. Okay, so here's the update. So I talked to my sister again about the charges after the initial conversation where I laid out my conditions. I even offered to remove them if they cleaned up their mess, but she said no and insisted I should experience her life and deal with things the way she does. Ooh, the sister's bitter. I did say no at first, but she kept insisting. I decided to stand firm though. She said she'd never come back if I charged them, but I told her that if they want to stay, they need to take responsibility for the damage. She kept saying no because she wanted a fun vacation without having to worry about cleaning like she does at home. So I guess they won't be coming. It's frustrating because I thought this was a fair compromise. I keep wondering if I should stand firm on my boundaries or let it go to keep the peace. But I know standing firm is probably right. But man, this doesn't feel good. Thanks to everyone for your advice and a few cruel words, lol. The sister's bitter to be like, I want you to experience my life. Why'd you have kids? Why did you marry this person? Sister, absolutely a Grinch. Just for saying that. That makes me feel icky. Would I be the Grinch for breaking up with my boyfriend over a Christmas gift? So this is a lot like the first one we read. I think, depending on the situation, no. because we decided the first OP was not the Grinch, but their boyfriend was definitely the Scrooge. So let's get into it. I'm a 21-year-old woman studying graphic design. For a long time, I've dreamed of having a good laptop for university. My ex knew this, yet for Christmas, he gifted me a desktop computer instead. I don't have much money, but I had given him 150 euros to help buy the laptop, expecting him to cover the rest. When I received the computer, I broke down in tears. I ended things with him because I feel he never takes me or my wishes seriously. Like, I wanted a laptop, he got me a desktop. Or when I wanted to try sushi for over a year, he always refused, only to find he liked it when we finally went. The worst part is how he ignores me every night in bed, glued to his phone, dismissing my desire for attention or cuddling by saying he had a long day. Our sex life also reflects this. It's always quick, without foreplay, and devoid of any intimacy or cuddling afterwards. Ooh. I come to him for affection, but he doesn't reciprocate. If I don't start, he does not come to me. I've communicated my feelings so many times, only for him to brush them off, saying everything's fine, we love each other, it doesn't have to be perfect. I seriously believe that my feelings and wants are only a burden to him. There was even one time where I cried after sex because he immediately went back to his phone. Oh, I told him I felt important, to which he casually responded that I was important and that during sex I had all his attention. I'm sorry. We're gonna pause. If your partner starts crying after sex and you don't fucking do anything, you're a monster. You're awful. If your partner starts crying, you need to be on that fucking aftercare. I cannot imagine, like, watching your partner cry and be like, no, you are important to me, honey. When we have sex, you have all my attention. Bitch, where is your attention supposed to be otherwise? Your attention is supposed to be on your partner during sex. I don't know if you know this, but sex is not a solo event. I don't know if this is gaslighting or not, but I felt insecure about myself. Maybe I want too much. I don't know. Back to Christmas, when I received the computer, it was the last straw. We had often discussed how I needed a laptop for university. I was even willing to buy it myself and getting a credit card for it, but he insisted I wait until Christmas as he wanted to gift something very cool to me. When he gave me something entirely different, it reinforced my feeling of being undervalued. So I cried first. Then I was silent for 5 minutes or so. He asked several times, "What is it? Is something wrong?" Your partner's fucking crying. Is something wrong? Bitch, yes it is! I then told him to leave my apartment. He called several times since, but I texted him that it's over between us. I don't want to explain. I can't. I feel like I would give him another chance to tell me something like, "Oh no, you misunderstood everything, blah, blah, blah." After the breakup, I confided in my sister about everything. Instead of support, she made me feel guilty, saying things like, "How can you break up with someone over a gift? And you're really ungrateful." Her words have left me doubting myself. Am I the Grinch for breaking up with him over this? First of all, you did not break up with him over a gift. You broke up with him because he is uncaring, unaffectionate, dismissive, and a whole host of other things. You did not break up with him over the gift. But also, let's say everything else in the relationship was fine. Except you told him you wanted a laptop. You gave him money for the laptop. He buys you a desktop. Depending on how long the relationship has been, I would say that's a fair thing to break up over. Like, if you've been in a relationship for like a couple months, and then you're like, I want a laptop, and they get you a desktop, I think it's fair to break up. It's kind of like, there was this other story where this girl was like, she broke up with her partner because he kept buying her silver jewelry, even though time and time again, she is like, I don't wear silver, I wear gold. Please do not buy me silver, I wear gold. Even if it's like the fake gold stuff, if it looks gold. Right? And he kept buying her silver, and she's like, I can't fucking take it anymore. I keep telling you this one thing. Why do you keep going back to this other thing? It's the fact that he's not listening. That is the problem. He's the Grinch. The sister is not supportive. I hate the sister. How could you break up with over a gift? You're so Well, no. It's one thing if somebody buys you a gift without you telling them anything, and then you're like, I didn't want this. How dare you get this for me? She told him she needed a laptop for school. It's not just she wanted a laptop for games or for to have a laptop. She needed it for school. She was going to get it herself, and he said he would buy it. He went back on his word. He is a liar. And so the sister, also the Grinch. There are updates. The first update is, thank you all for your supportive DMs and comments. I am really relieved to read that I am not exaggerating or wrong for feeling that way. I will reply once I am at home. Thank you. Update number 2. Wow, you all really blew my mind. I didn't tell about his gaming addiction. It's always the fucking gaming addiction. It's always the gaming addiction. Oh, that makes me mad. He plays a lot of mobile games. Of course he fucking does. Gaming addiction is a real thing. It's a very serious thing. If your partner has a gaming addiction, they should get that checked out. Gaming addiction is a real thing. But also, I'm not surprised. He needs to get that figured out before he gets into a relationship. He's a grown person. He plays a lot of mobile games when he's ignoring me, and he has a lot of friends who play online games with desktop computers, but he can't because he has a really old laptop. Wow, who would have thought? I think there's truth to the idea that he might have bought that computer more for himself than for me. I didn't say it, but I knew it. I was like, he bought that for himself. He bought that so you'd be like, I can't use this, and he'd be like, well, I can use it. I knew it. I know. I just looked it up. The computer he gave me is equipped with a top-tier graphics card and an unusually large amount of storage space, features that seem more aligned with his gaming needs than my graphic design requirements. The more I think about it, the more it seems like he made a choice based on his preferences, not mine. This realization adds another layer to my doubts. It's not about him ignoring my specific request for a laptop. It's also about the possibility that he used this opportunity under the guise of a gift to get something he wanted. The fact that he's an avid gamer makes this scenario all the more plausible and troubling. He stole her fucking money and bought himself a computer! Now that I've come to this realization, I'm genuinely angry. The thought that he might have manipulated the situation for his own benefit under the pretense of giving me a gift is infuriating. And yes, you're absolutely right about my sister. Her reaction was really awful. I'm going to avoid her for a while. I think my somewhat trusting and naive nature has often led me to be taken advantage of, leaving me feeling uncertain and second-guessing myself. It's a pattern I need to be more aware of and learn to break. Thank you all again for your support. This is the second story that we've had where the girlfriend has broken up with her boyfriend over a gift. And in both scenarios, the girlfriend was right because the boyfriend was a selfish fucking prick. OP, you are not the Grinch, but your boyfriend is absolutely the Grinch. He stole Christmas from you. He literally stole Christmas from you. He stole your 150 euros and used it to buy himself a gaming computer. Am I the Grinch for not making my husband Christmas dinner after he wasn't hungry at my parents' dinner? My parents celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve because it's my mom's birthday Christmas Day. We usually end up at their house for both days to celebrate. We had a big family dinner last night. I brought my husband his plate and he picked at it, then left it on the counter. I fed the babies and helped with the presents and even had a few minutes for some maternity pictures and family pictures. I'm 8 months pregnant and we have a 4-year-old and an 8.5-month old boy. Afterwards, we had a million presents to unwrap and I helped clean up the kitchen. This husband's fucking useless. 8 months pregnant and your wife is helping clean? No, get your ass in the kitchen. Get your ass in the kitchen. Why is your 8 months pregnant wife helping No. I then packed the car while my husband held the baby. No. What? Every sentence, we're not even all the way through. We're not even to the fucking title. We're not even halfway through. I'm so sorry, guys. Then packed the car while my husband held the baby. We finally got home around 9 p.m., get the kids through their bedtime routines, and settled down. Finally, around 10, I lay down on the couch, literally having Braxton Hicks contractions. I don't know what that is. When I hear the words, "Are you going to make anything for dinner?" I felt my whole soul leave my body, I swear. Me too. I swallowed hard and asked him to repeat himself and to think hard about the last 10 hours of my day. He looked me dead in the eye and said he was hungry. And then he asked why I didn't bring home his plate of leftovers from my parents. I told him I threw it out because he had basically stirred it all into a big soupy mess. He got offended that I wasted his food. He asked if there was anything I could make him real quick, and I said he could microwave himself a couple pizza pockets from the freezer. His final response was, "You're really not gonna make me dinner on Christmas?" Wow. He microwaved his own damn pizza pockets and ate them in silence before heading to bed without saying goodnight. Why am I so angry about it still this morning? Because you married a man-child. That's why. Top comment says, he asked if there's anything you can make him real quick. Proper response is, yeah, a crime scene. I agree. 8 months pregnant, guys. OP is 8 months pregnant. She has 2 other kids with this man. I don't understand it. I don't get it. The absolute audacity you have to ask your 8 months pregnant wife after she does all this shit. She does your job of packing the fucking car. Because if you're gonna expect her to cook for you, I expect you to pack the goddamn car. The audacity for him to be like, aren't you gonna cook dinner for me? It's Christmas. You had dinner cooked for you for Christmas. You could have went to your in-laws and been like, hey, can I take a Tupperware? Can I have some Tupperware so I can take home some food so that my wife don't have to cook for like the next couple days? You could have done that, and you didn't, because you are a failure of a man. Fucking OP's husband isn't even the Grinch. He's just a fucking man-child. He's a man-child. There's so many stories about terrible men in this. Not all men are terrible, but these men in specific are pretty awful. That is all the stories I had. This was an emotional roller coaster, guys. This was crazy. If you like that video, hit the like and subscribe button. It shows me that you want to see more of this. And maybe we'll do another one. I really want to do more reading Reddit stories. I think they're very fun. That's all for this time. I hope you liked it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!